Si hay comedias románticas que se destacan de fines del milenio pasado, una de las que se destaca sí o sí es 10 cosas que odio de ti, que encima tiene uno de los momentos más icónicos de la carrera de Heath Ledger, ese musical cantándole con toda el alma y con todo el corazón a Julia Stiles. Hablé con su director, que me contó cómo fue hacer el proceso de casting y cómo se hicieron algunos de los momentos más recordados de esta película, como el musical, por supuesto, pero también la lectura del poema, así como también una escena que parece que no tenían permiso para hacer, pero que hicieron de todas formas. Todo esto en este informe sobre 10 cosas que odio de ti.
We now return to Mira Akien and Contre with our latest interview.
At that time, there was a TV show called Dawson's Creek. And Dawson's Creek was a big hit TV show. And basically, Disney kind of wanted me to hire half of the kids from Dawson's Creek.
Yeah.
They did. Because there were names, there were recognizable names. And I asked them to please trust me to find really talented people that no one knew yet.
You two are going to help me tame the wild beast.
And Julia Stiles.
People perceive you as somewhat tempestuous. Heinous witch is the term used most often.
They said, are you ready for the next guy? Some kid from Australia. His name is Heath Ledger. I said, sure, bring him in. And Heath walks in, and he just had a presence to him. And I promise you, this is the truth. I said to myself, if this dude can read, I'm going to cast him. Seriously, I'm not even kidding. He was just so unique looking. But there was a feeling about him. I don't know how to explain it other than that. And I said, you know what? Put the sides down. I said, you clearly can act. I said, I just want to do an improv with you. And the reason was I wanted to see how quick his mind was. You know, I was kind of testing him a little bit to see if he could follow me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he did that for like literally a minute. That's it. So he flew all the way from Australia. He read for me for 2 minutes. And I said, thank you very much. And he said, oh, and I could tell that he was thrown. And I reassured him when I shook his hand. I said, Heath, you're a very talented guy. And the reason this is going so quickly is you're very good. And I said, I have a feeling we'll be seeing each other. And he said, oh, okay. And he left kind of confused. And so when he got up, we all stood up, you know, just to be polite. And the instant the door closed, I turned to the head of casting at Disney. Her name is Marcia Ross. And I said, Marcia, I've never wanted to sleep with a man. But if I had to sleep with a man, that would be the man. Cast him immediately.
He's our guy.
Do you consider Ashton Kutcher for this role? Because I was reading that he was also...
He was the other one.
Yeah, he was the other one. So it was up to the two of them.
Yes. I hadn't found the dad yet. And I went to one of these parties that Hollywood seems to throw for themselves all the time. And the MC for the show was Larry Miller. And I'm looking at him going, that guy's funny. That guy just looks so sweet. He looks so everyman. He doesn't look handsome. He doesn't look unattractive. He looks like a caring dad, just like a regular dad you could see down the street. And I thought to myself, Jesus, I think that's the guy. And I didn't know who he was. And I didn't know anything about him. And I walked up to him, you know, between his little bits. And I said, excuse me. I said, hi, my name's Gil Younger. And I said, do you act? And he says, yeah. And I said, well, I've got a movie that I think you'd be perfect for. How do I contact you? And, you know, who's your agent and all that kind of stuff. And it was really funny. I went into casting the next day and I said to Marcia Ross again, I said, have you ever heard of this guy called Larry Miller? She said, yes. He was in Pretty Woman. And I said, oh. And anyway, I cast him just like that, just from watching his stand-up. I didn't have him read or do anything.
I love you, baby, and if it's quite all right, I need you, baby, to warm the lonely night.
I honestly don't recall why we chose that song. It was a favorite of mine when I was a kid. Heath is certainly not known for singing. And he said, great, I'll do it. And he recorded it in like 2 takes in the studio. I think it was just like half a day of shooting. It wasn't, it wasn't like a huge musical number or anything, although it worked.
Yeah, and it becomes one of the moments of the movie.
Yeah. Well, Heath, a lot of that was Heath. Running around the up and down the steps was Heath. And when he first slides down that pole,
yeah,
there was no pole there. I just thought it would be a cool visual, like Fred Astaire, like the old dancers in the old movies.
At long last love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive.
I hadn't planned on him running around when those guys were chasing him.
Yeah.
And that was just him. And it was glorious when he did that. I was like, oh my God, Heath, that's just beautiful. So luckily we captured it. And the funny thing about that, it was pretty hot that day. One of the larger of the 2 security guards that was chasing him, we thought he had a heart attack.
What?
Yeah, all of a sudden he collapsed and he was panting and sweating and panting. And we had to like shut down for like 45 minutes because we literally thought he had a heart attack. And the guy just said that he was just terribly out of shape. And he was like, I'm so sorry, I'm so embarrassed.
Let me love you.
And also, it's as simple as Julia's reactions when she looked at him and she just appreciated him. My God, she's a talented woman.
Yeah.
But that was Heath just being Heath.
I hate the way you talk to me and the way you cut your hair. I hate the way you drive my car. I hate it when you stare.
The 10 things speech,
Yeah.
1 take.
Yeah.
1 take.
I hate your big dumb combat boots and the way you read my mind. I hate you so much it makes me sick. It even makes me rhyme.
I was actually sitting on the front of the dolly. You're not even supposed to sit there. So I'm sitting on the front of this thing, and here's the camera here, and here's my head here. And I'm just riding with him. So I didn't have to walk because I didn't want to make any noise. I honestly will say that at the end of that take, I was crying so hard. And I was literally covering my mouth and my nose so that I didn't interrupt the thing. And then as soon as I said cut, I ran up to her and I hugged her so hard. That was maybe one of the most moving performances I've ever seen. And I've seen plenty.
But mostly I hate the way I don't hate you. Not even close. Not even a little bit. Not even at all.
It just killed me.
Yeah.
It was so raw. And it was so honest and it was so vulnerable. Yeah, I even asked her, I said, where did that come from? And she told me, I was just thinking about a person's name that she was deeply in love with at the time.
Oh,
Yeah. So anyway, it wasn't me, certainly. But it wasn't Heath either. But that was one of the magical performances that I recorded in my lifetime. It was just incredible.
Yeah. Wasn't it Heath? Because I was reading that they started to be a couple because of the movie. That's not him. Yeah.
No.
Because the chemistry between the 2 of them is amazing.
Yeah, the chemistry is amazing. She for a minute or 10 went out with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
In the movie.
They were very, very attracted to each other.
Whoa.
Which was cool.
Yeah, and I think they don't interact almost at all in the movie.
I know, right? Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
She's like professing her love to Heath, and she's in love with the guy who's waiting in his trailer to shoot the next scene. Yeah, watching them, it was beautiful how much they enjoyed each other. Yeah.
One of them is the take of the helicopter at the end in the roof. How dangerous was that? And did you have permission from Disney?
Why are you asking me that question?
Because I read some things about the movie.
That's so crazy. I had this idea how cool it would be to have a band on the roof of the school. Okay, because it would be cool. And then it was actually fairly complicated because the roof was really like this and very dangerous. So they had to build an entire base and a structure and these little thin wires, and they had to build this entire thing. I contacted the head of production at Disney and I told them my idea, and they said, what would it cost? And it was $75,000. Because, you know, there's a cost for everything. You know, you got to rent the Tyler mount, you got to rent the helicopter, you got to rent the pilot, stuff. It was 75 grand to get all the gear. And I told Disney, and they said, you know what, Gil, we love what you're doing. The dailies are incredible. They're incredible. But yeah, I can't justify $75,000 for one shot. Okay, thank you. I mean, I know that's going to be a iconic shot. It's important. And I said, aren't we like below budget or something? He said, well, we're doing great. I said, I said, let me call them again. So I called Disney again, and the producer's right there. Now, this was my first movie, and I'm not one of those weird director guys that just says, I run the world, you know, give me whatever. Anyway, so I called them and I asked the exact same question, and they gave me the exact same answer. And I was pretty frustrated. I was, darn it. And I hung up the phone and I was kind of bummed. And the producer said to me, so what'd they say? And I don't even know where this came from. And I said, they said, do it. I mean, that's so not me. First of all, I'm not a liar, but it was so stupid of me. But so we did it. And then here's and I was so nervous, like, because the next day is when Disney sees the dailies. And then sure enough, the next day the phone rings and so head of production wants to talk to you. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm in so much trouble. Right? And that, by the way, that shot was half of my salary to direct the movie, right? So I thought, oh no, they're gonna take it out of my salary. I thought, oh shit, Gil, that was not smart. And the first thing they said, hey, we saw the dailies. I said, oh yeah. And he said, whose idea was the helicopter shot? And I was like, shit, what do I say? And I said, mine? And he said, oh, incredible idea. We love the shot. He never said a word about the cost of it. I do think it was a tad dangerous, you know, because I was riding with the guy. The intention was to circle the band, yeah, and then stay there and just look at the band and the school with the water in the background. So we're hovering, and the helicopter pilot was magical. He was so good. And we're hovering, you know, we're looking at the band, and all of a sudden I go, charge him. And he's like, what? Charge them. I'm sorry, what? Charge him, charge him, charge him. And he fucking just went for it and went right over the band, as you probably remember. And the singer, the woman in the band, who's now become a good friend, she told me afterwards, she peed in her pants. She was so scared. She literally peed in her pants. She said the wash of the blades almost blew her off the roof. Could you imagine? Oh my God. But she said she peed in her pants, and then she said it was maybe the coolest thing I've ever done.